Alright guys, in this video I'm going to be setting up a backup bow for everyone, and it's actually a Bowtech Insanity, I think, yeah, just Bowtech Insanity Cpx, yeah. It's like I think they made it in 2012 at first, and I traded in my Athens Solus for it sometime last year and just never did anything with it, but figured it'd make a good backup bow for the whole family rather than having my Solus, which was drawing specific. So that's how we got this bow in our hands, and thought it might be a good video. I started setting it up and didn't really think about it, but we thought it might be worth making a video out of it, because bow prices today are just getting so out of hand. Like, the flagship bow prices keep going up and up and up, and now they're $1,100, $1,200 just for an aluminum riser bow, and it's just crazy. I think it's not the direction we need to be going, and I don't think they are worth that much, because this bow is probably worth $200 to $300. You can buy it off of used archery forums. You can probably find one your local bow shop. And a lot of people tell people that are getting started in the sport to go buy like a lower end model bow. Every bow company has their price point bow, they call them. But even those are getting to be $600 or $700 if you're talking about the major bow companies, and that's still really out of hand. And they don't have as many features as like a flagship bow would. So honestly, I think probably the best move is to get yourself a used bow. And like I said, this thing's probably worth $200 or $300. You could pick it up wherever you can find used bows, and I guarantee you that I can shoot this just as well as I can shoot my Range 6, and I can shoot my Range 6 pretty dang well.
It's funny because like you're saying your Range 6, and that's dated in bow terms, you know, like,
yeah, even my Range 6 is like 2 years old now. No. But like,
a lot of people
I don't
are like,
oh,
that's old, and you don't use that anymore.
No, like, well, people that get new bows every year, and right. Sometimes we do, and it depends on what we like. But like, I haven't gotten a new bow since we got the Range 6, just because I shoot it so dang well. I don't want to set up another one. I can't see myself shooting something else. And this has literally is going to be basically the exact same bow, almost the exact same specs. So I think that's pretty interesting. And
that's what bow companies do every single year.
Yeah. So we're gonna set it up and show you how we go about setting up a backup bow, I guess. I mean, it's basically the same thing that we're gonna be doing for any bow. I started by putting the rest on. I still have to tie the cord down. It's a limb-driven rest. So I got the bow on trade, but we have a bunch of accessories that we're not using. So for me, I don't have to pay anything to get it all set up because I have all the accessories. But for you, you could go on lower end stuff and find other things to make ends meet.
Or find used stuff too.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like finding used highest end models instead of new lower end models. I think you're probably going to be better off doing that route. So the first thing I did is put on the rest, and now I'm finding a place for the D-loop. I tied the top knocking point already, and I have fancy knocking points that I tie sometimes, but then a lot of times I just like to go simple, and I can show you what I'm doing here. I always leave about just a little bit of wiggle room, and I already used the levels to make sure it was just a tiny bit tail high at brace. That's how I kind of like setting them up nowadays. Just maybe a 1/16 of an inch above, just completely square. And then I'm going to tie in my bottom knocking point, and I'm going to leave just maybe a 1/16 of an inch of wiggle room on the knock there. And how I'm doing it this time is just overhand knots back and forth on each side of the string. So it basically looks like this. Put it like right in there. Yeah, that's about perfect. So I do an overhand knot on the back side first, closest to the knock, and then I'll do another overhand knot on the bottom side. And you want to do it on like this side of where that serving is on the bottom side, so that you're going this way. And then you just cinch that one down. Go back up top, another overhand knot, and I'm going to make this knocking point a little bit bigger than the top knocking point because it makes the string sit better at full draw. And I guess going on the theme of this video, a lot of people that are getting into it aren't going to be doing their own bows. So make sure you go to a good pro shop and make sure that they're setting it up correctly. And make sure that you get the bow fitted for you correctly and have the right draw length, because that's going to be probably the most important thing to achieving good accuracy and getting started in the right direction when it comes to bow hunting. But just go like a quick rundown on how we're setting it up, because a lot of you guys do set up your own bows too, I think. Now I just got to put on the D-loop. Right up against that top knocking point. Run straight back. Then to cross over the string. Go around it. Back around. And through. Alright. Now we're going to cut this off like right here. You never really want to light it on fire either. You just want to melt it and go away. And melt it. Bring it back. This stuff does not melt as good as some of the other stuff that I've used. So that's about perfect. I like having the bubble touching this line, meaning it's just a tiny bit knock high and there's still a little bit of play. So it's right where I want it. Now I guess I'll put a peep sight in and tie down the rest. I have the rest running through center shot, which is just the center of the bow, and it's also parallel with the inside of the riser. I'm going to put the sight on there so I can line up my peep sight with the outside of the sight housing and make sure that it's actually in the right spot. This is actually Trevor's old sight. He got a 5-pin slider last year, but this is a really good sight. It's a 7-pin spot hog it. And new, these are like, I know they're at least like $300, but we don't just like tell people to buy used stuff because it's better, but we do it ourselves too. I mean, he bought this one used, and I have the exact same sight basically. And I bought mine used, and I think we got them for around $150 used, and they're bulletproof. So
I actually got that sight used from Denton from Rock Creek Archery. Shout out again. I like it a lot. But
that peep sight is literally perfect.
Is it really?
Mm-hmm. No adjustments. How's the cam timing look?
Bottom's touching, barely.
Wait, we're good.
Okay, bottom's off, and the top is on.
Oh, I can feel it. You go too much then?
We might have.
Alright, I'm just getting close enough. Shouldn't be too far right now, because it doesn't really matter yet. Hopefully my bow doesn't break. I might dial it in at some point when I have my own release and my own arrows. But we'll just show you what kind of group I can put up, I guess. So I was aiming right here. As you can see, that's a really tight group. No, I'm kidding. I aimed for this one the first shot, so I hit right there. Aim for this one on this shot. And would have been, I don't know.
It would have been a good group, but I was not going to allow him to break my arrows.
It's grouping. Grouping is fun when you don't have to use your own arrows. But that's pretty good for the first actual round. It would have been a pretty tight group.
That's a lot of work.
Probably all we're going to do for today for this bow. But it's pretty close until I have my stuff. It's not really any use of setting it up any farther. But it feels pretty good. I mean, feel pretty steady all in all. It doesn't feel too different than my rain, which makes sense because the geometry is about the same. So, anyway.
You could use this as your full-time bow if you really wanted to. If you get it set up and dialed in, it's just a matter of preference.
It'd be easy to use this as a main bow, and like a 2012 bow is not that old, so I don't want people to think that it is, but it can be had fairly cheap on forums or on trade or on your local bow shop. So I don't know, it's a good thing to have, and just in case anything ever goes wrong, and you could always use another bow. So I guess that'll wrap up the video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to see future content. Thanks for watching.